Okay, so we've covered all 4 sections of the 3i Atlas attunement arc, which was quite a journey. But what else is there? What if we took all that incredible music, blended it into, say, a single 1-hour mix, and focused it entirely on guiding your breath? Well, that's exactly what this is. We're about to do a deep dive into the breathing series using only the breath library you shared, really looking at the mechanics of automated nervous system regulation.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here is how this system takes these, well, profound physiological mechanics and just boils them down to almost elementary instructions. We're looking at a tool designed specifically to help regulate your nervous system without adding that mental load of traditional meditation. So no counting, no clock watching.
Just following a sound cue.
Exactly, just a sensory cue.
So let's define what these tracks actually are. We're talking about hour-long continuous music tracks, right? Adapted from those original compositions people might already know. But crucially, layered over that music, there's this clear, simple layer of audio cues.
That's the user interface, essentially. A gentle bell sound signals. Breathe in, simple, and then symbol sound signals. Breathe out. The whole point is you're not meant to count the seconds or, manage the duration yourself. You just cooperate with the sound.
Okay, but hang on. If I'm used to counting in meditation, maybe breath counting, why is just following a sound cue considered, well, better here? Doesn't counting help focus the mind?
That's a really good question, and it gets to the heart of it. See, when we count, the prefrontal cortex, it's a part of your brain doing the planning, the calculating, it stays active. It has a job to do. The genius of this system is that by outsourcing the timing to the audio, the mind is actually relieved of that cognitive task.
Oh, okay.
Which instantly reduces that mental friction. It lets the nervous system settle more deeply because the thinking part can relax a bit. The instructions really explicit. Follow the cue, not your own internal timer.
Right. And the rules are super clear about how to handle the breath itself once you are following those cues. We mentioned 2 key things. Absolutely no breath holds, not at the top, not at the bottom. And number 2, you want your exhale to be intentionally just a touch longer than your inhale.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture, those rules are basically the blueprint for, hacking the body's internal timing system. It's all based on really basic human wiring, specifically how breathing interacts with your heart rhythm. There's a technical term for it, respiratory sinus arrhythmia, or RSA.
Okay, RSA. Let's unpack that physiology just a bit more. Why is that relevant here, and why is the slightly longer exhale the star player?
Okay, think of your autonomic nervous system like a car, maybe. Your inhales act like a very gentle nudge on the accelerator. They slightly raise your heart rate, nudge things toward the sympathetic side, your action mode. Exhales, though, they act as the brake pedal. They slow the heart rate down and activate the parasympathetic system. That's your rest and recovery mode.
Accelerator and brake, got it.
Right. And what's really interesting is that the efficiency of this whole system, how well your brake works, is often measured by something called heart rate variability, or HRV. HRV is basically the healthy, subtle fluctuation in time between your heartbeats. When you intentionally introduce that longer, softer exhale, you spend more time deliberately applying the brake, so to speak. This helps optimize what's called vagal tone, basically the health of the internal wiring that governs your body's ability to calm itself down.
That makes perfect sense. So the track is essentially designed to make the nervous system's brake pedal more sensitive, more responsive. And that makes the no holds rule even more critical then, right?
Absolutely critical. Because even a subtle, maybe unintentional hold, this feeling where you're kind of gripping the air for a split second, your body can interpret that as a tiny emergency signal. It can spike your heart rate, which works directly against the entire goal of establishing calm. This system is designed to remove that friction of timing, letting the body just settle into this sustained deep deceleration phase.
Okay, so if the goal is deceleration, maximizing that exhale break, the logical next question is, how slow can we actually go? And this is where the customization of the breathing series really comes into play. Every single track is dedicated to a specific pace, and it's clearly stated right in the video title, like breathing series 4 breaths per minute.
And that customization is absolutely essential,
right?
Because the goal is always comfort over force. You can't just, jump into the absolute slowest pace and expect it to work. If a particular rhythm feels strained, or if you notice any internal sensation of holding your breath or maybe reaching for air, that pace is just too slow for you right now.
Right now, okay.
Right now. You absolutely must choose a faster pace from the list to ensure it feels effortless. Effortlessness is key.
And the variety available in the birth library is pretty remarkable. I mean, we have options covering a huge range, starting at the faster end, which seems good for getting comfortable, and then moving into these profoundly slow rhythms.
Yeah, let's maybe categorize the available speeds just to show the progression. They're measured in breaths per minute, BPM. We can think of a starter zone for ease. That includes 7 breaths per minute, then 6, 5.5, and 5. Pretty accessible. Then we move into what you might call the core zone, where many find the physiological benefits really start to amplify. That's 4.5, 4.25, and 4 breaths per minute.
And then we hit those tiny fractional steps. It gets really granular. We see 3.75, 3.5, 3.25, 3, then 2.75, 2.5, 2.25, and finally all the way down to 2 breaths per minute. So why all those incredibly fine adjustments on the slower end? I mean, the jump from 7 to 6 BPM feels like one step, but why the decimals below 4 BPM?
This is a critical point, and it reflects the physics of breath timing. The relationship isn't linear. It's exponential as you slow down. Think about it. When you're breathing at 6 BPM, each complete breath cycle inhale plus exhale is 10 seconds long.
Okay.
But if you slow down to 3 BPM, that cycle doubles to 20 seconds long.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Huge difference. Now consider the difference between, say, 3.75 BPM and 3.5 BPM. That seemingly small 0.25 BPM decrease. It actually adds almost half a second to every single inhale-exhale cycle. At these really ultra-slow speeds, even a quarter of a breath per minute makes a massive noticeable difference for the body's experience. So those fractional steps exist precisely because that slight increase in duration can be the difference between a pace feeling challenging or forced and one feeling perfectly comfortable, totally effortless.
I see the distinction now. That makes complete sense. The tiny steps prevent you from having to make this huge leap in duration, making sure the track stays supportive, not stressful. So knowing all that, how does someone actually start on day one? Where do you begin?
You start where it feels easy. Simple as that. Your goal isn't to hit the slowest number on the list. Your goal is to achieve effortlessness. The breath library suggests a really simple test. If you find yourself trying to sort of grab air right before the bell cue for the inhale, or if you feel any internal anxiety or a sense of rushing to keep up, that's your clear signal. Stop that track. Move one step faster on the pace list. Find the ease again.
So the system is kind of self-correcting then. You're always testing that boundary of comfort, but always ready to retreat back to ease if any friction shows up.
Precisely. And remember those 2 core instructions that help maintain that calm state. Keep the exhale slightly longer than the inhale and absolutely no breath holds, ever. You're just cooperating with how your body is already wired. You're not trying to force some new stressful behavior onto it.
Makes sense. And once you've found that comfortable pace, that sweet spot, how long should you actually use these tracks for? Is there a recommended duration?
Well, the way you use them is pretty flexible. It's designed really for integration into a busy life. Suggested session lengths can range anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, which is great for a quick reset. Or, you can go for the full hour if you have the time and it feels good. You basically use the music for as long as it feels beneficial and comfortable.
And positioning, what's best?
The goal is always relaxation. So sitting comfortably is great, maybe in a chair with back support. Reclining also works well for many people, and you can use headphones for a more focused internal experience. Or speakers are fine too, if you prefer that. Oh, and one crucial note from the breath library we absolutely must include are the safety notes. Stop immediately if you feel lightheaded, dizzy, or genuinely uncomfortable in any way. These tracks are powerful tools, yes, designed to support well-being and a stable inner environment. But, and this is important, they are not medical treatments. They're not substitutes for professional medical or psychological care.
Right. They're tools for support. They simply make it easier for you to relax without that conscious, sometimes taxing effort of pacing yourself. They turn what can be a frustrating cognitive task like counting breaths perfectly into a completely sensory experience. You just have to listen. And it seems like when the body quiets down like this, that internal noise, anxious thoughts, racing emotions, it just naturally tends to decrease.
It's kind of the ultimate hack for the modern, often overwhelmed person, isn't it? You could even say that the ancient contemplative systems discovered this parasympathetic lever centuries ago, maybe calling it pranayama or something similar, long before science gave the mechanism names like HRV or vagal tone. This modern approach is really just making that powerful ancient lever easily accessible through carefully engineered sound.
So I really encourage you, the listener, maybe pick one pace today. Perhaps start in that starter zone, like 5.5 or 6 BPM, and just try it, maybe for 10 minutes. Give yourself permission to experiment across different paces over time. Try 5.5, then maybe 4.5, perhaps even 4.0 eventually. The goal is to find the pace that feels completely, utterly effortless for you. Remember, the track should feel like support, never like a challenge you have to conquer.
And your portable cue, the simple mechanism you can take with you even when the music stops playing, is always the same. Just aim for a slightly longer, softer exhale whenever you think of it throughout your day. That small, intentional act is like your steering wheel for the nervous system. It immediately communicates safety and rest to your body. Effortless regulation on demand.